I'm telling you, man.
Victor.
Yeah. Let's see what terrible things await.
Now, there's 4 other party members, and I can't help but notice that none of them are running around just rubbing up on every single trap that they come across. Only you're doing this.
Why else would you play a rogue?
Okay, so there's a difference between like playing a rogue, looking for traps, and then rubbing your crotch on every single trap you come across.
Okay.
I don't think you understand the distinction.
You reach in and you grab... I mean, I describe them as being like little braziers, but they're probably more like sconces. Like they're meant to be removed.
Yeah.
And you grab one, and you're now holding it.
Okay, then he walks back towards the group.
I'll bring it over here.
Hey, Genie, look what I found. I got you a present.
I've played Zelda Ocarina of Time. I know what colored fire does.
Okay, so this is like green fire if we're looking at what's on this map.
It had heat and light and smoke, and it's green.
Ekon, Genie, what is this?
Oh.
I mean, I can't.
It seems just like regular fire except green.
It's either a fire that somebody has poured borax on, or
Here, I'll stand right here.
So, the groove that this thing is resting on, is it something like this number? Or to this, or laterally? I'm drawing with a pencil.
Looks like maybe the base of the skull is sitting in a little divot in the floor, but it's not connected to the floor in any way you can see. You don't see like spot welds or rivets or anything of that nature. So you think with enough strength or with magic, you could get the skull to move out of the way.
like
Edmont tries with his noodle arms,
Tries what?
pulling on it.
Give me a strength check at disadvantage.
I fear we need to get Orson there if we actually want to move it.
That's a 1, I think.
Okay. You put your noodle arms.
2. It's a 2.
You put your noodle arms on the thing. You get a grip around the inside of its jaw. You try to pull it forward, and as you do, the thing speaks to you.
Ah.
State thy question.
Like jaw moving and everything.
Yeah.
We might need this question later. I recommend don't asking anything.
Edmont walks away.
Okay.
Edmont, did you get the other eye?
No.
They weren't eyes. They were in his nostrils.
No. Did you get the other snot flame?
No.
this is like a little cup of fire, essentially, right?
Yeah, like a goblet or something filled with fire. It's a little handheld torch sconce thing.
Victor,
I hate it.
did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
No. Treble.
Came out is Slytherin.
What's next?
GB said calmly. Anyway, do we still have one more room, right? Like we have several things that obviously there's interconnected moving pieces here.
Yeah, there's still one area we haven't seen.
Yeah, right
Oh,
here.
yeah, there's north area.
So set the fire down.
Yeah, we're gonna need it later.
Where are you putting the fire?
We're gonna put it.
Draw me out where you're leaving it. This seems like it might be important.
But
You really want me to leave it?
maybe we should just put it back where you got it.
Well, if I go back in there, I'm gonna probably walk into the pit.
Edmont seems to be fine.
Yeah, give
Here,
it here.
Edmont. Victor will hand Edmont the goblet.
I'll
Okay.
walk back up there and replace it. That's not flame.
You reach back into the nostril and set it back down.
And then walk right back. Okay.
Looking around this last corner.
Dexterity saving throw.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That's fine. And it's a stairway leading up that curves around to a second landing. But after the second landing, it is collapsed in with stone and not passable.
This is probably the entrance that Victor found.
Potentially. But you said it's collapsed in?
It's collapsed in from above, yes. Like, you could probably move some of the rubble out of the way, but if you did, it would cause it to collapse further down the staircase and probably flatten all of you, which would be really fun.
Hilarious.
Be a great way to end the campaign.
All right.
Or would. Rocks fall, everyone dies.
So
We got 2 more boxes we gotta find, and there's 3 keys we gotta get.
all right, we have a we have a box, right?
You have, yeah.
We
it's,
do have a
We have a silver box.
The box is not a silver box. The box itself is made out of almost certainly bone, but the keyhole on the front of it, keeping the clasp shut, is made of silver.
So okay, how mechanical? Like, would like to investigate the lock itself.
Okay.
And determine how, like, if it's just a purely mechanical lock.
Give me an Arcana check.
Okay, yeah, sure. 27.
There's a keyhole, which implies a key, but there's no actual locking mechanism. It's just for show. The key will unlock the box just by being placed in and turned, but there's no actual turning mechanism. The box will remain closed until the key is placed upon it.
Well, the Silver Man probably has the key to the silver lock.
Yes.
Well, they
Unless-
said
that would be illogical.
Okay.
What
Shall
if
we?
the other boxes are in this box?
That would be hilarious.
Just a Kavorka man.
Russian nesting dolls.
Russian nesting dolls. Yeah, Kavorka is another thing.
Matryoshka, I think is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, Matryoshka.
I think Kavorka's from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Well-
Okay, so we have a skull we can ask. We got a talking skull statue.
And it will let us ask a question, but we don't know what's going to happen when we ask.
I didn't know what question to ask. That's why I walked away from it.
I don't know if there's anything in any of these rooms filled with bodies. We didn't examine those very closely. We just kind of moved through them.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
They're quite unpleasant.
And then we have the skull over here.
I mean, I think we should. I would say we should go talk to the Silver Man at this point.
Yeah,
So,
agreed. Let's do that.
Yeah, before we go over there, though, let's take a good look at the casket,
Sure.
because we haven't actually looked at it. We don't know if there's 3 keyholes, one keyhole, no keyholes. So, what's on the casket, Brick Road?
It's a sarcophagus, actually, not a casket.
Well,
So the,
fancy
on it-
casket.
on the top of it, it is adorned, because the sarcophagus is often adorned with the visage of the person interred inside. This one contains the visage of a human skeleton with its arms folded across its chest. You don't see any keyholes, you don't see any markings around the sides of it, but the
Is it
stone of the
actually-
sarcophagus can be pulled away.
This is actually a statue over here on the side.
There is a worn statue with few, if any, features looming over the back of the room, as though it's reaching out towards the sarcophagus.
Is there a place where we could? Is there a place where we could wedge a crowbar into the sarcophagus?
There's not a specific place, but yes, that's what a crowbar would be good for.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, is there a spot where we
detecting
could get one in
magic
there?
on the sarcophagus.
We're detecting magic from within the sarcophagus.
Okay.
Is there any magic coming from the statue?
No. Statue, it seems to be made of a different kind of stone than the surrounding walls, but otherwise unremarkable.
Hey.
Oh, he wants to go get shot again. Cool.
No, Evie's backing out of the room because they're about to start messing with the sarcophagus.
Ah.
I don't think a crowbar is going to open that thing.
Yeah, you could open the sarcophagus with a crowbar.
What's the worst that could happen if we did that?
I mean, many things are bad, but
Is it below our threshold or above our threshold?
do we have a threshold? Let's do it. Orson,
Okay.
I believe in you.
Crowbars.
All right. Orson will lever it open with the crowbar.
Okay. Are all 4 of you assisting in this?
Yeah, Victor's gonna assist.
Yeah, I mean,
I
That
don't
is-
really think there's anything to be gained from me trying to help.
with the 3 of you standing there, if Orson can get a crowbar under and pops the sarcophagus loose, then it's just a matter of sliding the stone away. And it's heavy, but it's not insurmountable with the 3 of you there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Orson, I rolled an athletics check, and that was a 19 and a 20.
I didn't ask you for an athletics check. You're just playing with dice over there.
Well, okay. We had a crowbar. I was expecting an athletics check.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, no
Sorry,
check
he's-
required. You have the correct tools, and you got 3 people moving it. Like, Treble, you and I could open a stone sarcophagus if we had a crowbar.
I don't know. I've seen
Peer
the
inside.
arms.
Peering inside, it's not a sarcophagus at all. There's
Oh.
a second lid under the first. You slide it away. And this one is adorned with a velvet cloth. Do we have any light source, or are we just relying on dark vision?
We have a. Well, I still have the light cantrip on my turret.
Then yeah, it's a brilliant royal purple, similar to colors that you've seen Aslan wear. As the inside has this blanking on the word now, like a velvet lining.
Mm-hmm.
It looks to your eyes more like a tablecloth than the lining inside of a coffin. However, there are 4 noticeable indentations. 3 of them closest to tiny protector turret here. I'm going to go ahead and actually draw little lines out. Here, here, and here are rectangular and look as though they fit the rectangular box you're carrying. More interestingly, at the bottom, in the center bottom of each of these indentations, is a groove that looks like a keyhole. Up here, the indentation is shaped like a human skull.
So we need 3 boxes and a skull?
Is it shaped like a skull facing up or down? Like down, I would assume, right?
It's
Otherwise that
shaped
would be
like
a skull.
shaped like the back of a skull. It's the correct
Oh, okay.
shape. It has the correct curvature to it, and it has an indentation where a jawbone would sit.
Is the velvet cloth able to be pulled away?
You could probably take a knife to it.
Nah, I don't want to do that.
What's
All right.
next?
So we're looking for 3 boxes and a skull.
We have
These are-
one already.
We know where 2 skulls are.
So the indentation for the box. So like the lock. Are you saying there's like a key like that we stick the box onto?
Give me a
Sticking out.
give me a wisdom check. Actually, give me an intelligence check.
Okay.
I think what we're looking for is that 3 locks are hidden somewhere. The 3 golems are guarding the 3 keys, and then there's a skull that somehow plays into this.
20.
20. If you had a key to go into this box, you could then slide the box down into the indentation in such a way that the key would sit flush with that groove.
Okay. So yeah, we need. So basically, we need to. What I'm hearing is we need the key to open the box, and then we open the box and set it down into the groove, and it fits perfectly.
Yep.
With the key in the box, yeah.
Okay. So we're missing 6 parts of this puzzle at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of them may have dropped in the vat of acid.
That is a possibility.
I'd like to examine the statue and see if there's like any pieces of it that are like easy, look like they could be separated, or any places where there's like a weird magical aura or anything like that.
No, the statue actually looks to be the most unremarkable thing you've seen in the dungeon so far. In fact, the thing only barely has a face. It's like as though the statue has been worn away by years and years and years. It seems pretty sturdy, but it's just normal stone. It's not even radiating magic. There doesn't seem to be any parts of it that could move or could be moved away, and it's sitting on a stone foundation set into the floor, unlike the skull you saw in the previous room.
Does the foundation have any
Edmont?
writing on it?
Does the foundation have what?
Any writing?
No. What does Edmont want?
Edmont's gonna go into the murder hole, into the murder hallway here, and he's gonna look around for anything that might have been left behind by the skeletons, because we never really took a good look in either of these rooms.
Welcome to the murder hallway.
Yeah, never took a good look at if there was anything in here aside from like broken bones and scorch marks and
These rooms are not.
skeleton bones.
I mean, they've definitely seen better days. You guys put these two rooms through their paces for sure. But no,
Yeah.
nothing of value. Just the collapsed bones of a bunch of skeleton archers.
Okay, so my
And
instinct,
explosions. Go ahead.
my instinct about these boxes is they're probably warded so they can't be magically located. So I can't scan the dungeon for them with locate object.
Why not?
Because I think
Give it a
they're
try
probably
and see
magically
what
protected
happens.
against it.
Give it
So-
a try. What's the worst that could happen?
Didn't Genie detect abjuration on them?
On the box itself.
Do you have multiple locate objects?
I could do it twice.
Try locating the one we know where it is.
Okay, I'm gonna cast locate object, trying to locate any objects that are exactly like the keyhole box that Genie.
Specify here instead of that. Specify a box with a silver keyhole.
A box with a silver keyhole.
Because if that works, you might could try box with a gold keyhole. Or
So you cast locate object. You specify a box with a silver keyhole. Yeah, Genie's holding one.
Okay, so that's yeah. I could try for the other ones, I guess. But
So you get those back on short rests, right?
yeah. But I don't want to take a lot of rest. I assume we're on
fair.
a loose time limit.
Right, but like you can look for one of them right now, and then
Yeah.
you need to-
Might give us a kick in the rear.
All right. Well, which one do we want to look for first? Doesn't really matter to me.
Gold, probably
Let's see.
probably a good one.
All right. I will try locating a box with a gold keyhole.
Okay, let me check
And
my
that will
notes.
ping if it's within 1,000 feet of me, which
Yep.
might be this whole map.
No, the ceiling is larger than that.
You are getting a ping. Assuming north is the top of this map,
Mm-hmm.
you are getting a ping slightly south of east and underneath you.
So, here-ish?
Possible.
in the acid.
How long is that?
I
last?
only asked.
I have to check the duration.
Does it give you the distance as well, or just you get a ping that yes you found one?
Let me read the description. Describe or name an object that's familiar to you. You sense the direction of the object's location as long as the object is within 1,000 feet of you. If the object's in motion, you know the direction of its movement. The spell can locate a specific object known to you as long as you have seen it up close, within 30 feet at least once. Alternatively, the spell can locate the nearest object of a particular kind. The spell can't locate an object if any thickness of lead blocks a direct path. It doesn't give me any indication.
You'll continue to get pings for 10 minutes as long as you concentrate on the spell.
Yep. Let's go.
So
Yeah, I think it may have fallen into the acid. So we're going to have to figure out a way to get it out.
You got a protection from acid, like absorb elements.
That gives you resistance for 1 round.
Well,
I'm gonna wait for. We got
option
we got
is-
options. I'm gonna go through this room after Edmont does, so he can eat the
Yeah.
ranged acid.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that Victor and Edmont are eating the acid because the design of the dungeon is such you guys have to do a lot of running back and forth, and I thought the acid traps would be more of a pain in the butt than they are. I
Okay,
didn't-
so am I getting any pings? Is it
Yeah,
position change relative to me?
directly under your feet.
Okay, it's under this bridge.
I knew there was a
Okay,
magic bottle underneath
so-
the bridge.
Do we have? I'm gonna pull out a rock and I'm gonna cast light on it, and I'm gonna fly down 5 feet and throw it roughly where Evie stand directly above it,
She is.
and I'll throw it directly under her feet.
And after a moment, you see the glow of the rock. I mean, it's giving off this hellish fizz as the rock is starting to dissolve in the acid, and it lands on the floor of this acid pool, maybe 15 or 20 feet down, directly next to a rectangular box.
Can I manipulate that box with Mage Hand?
Yeah, probably.
All right, I mage hand the box up onto the ground.
Man, you lift it up out of the acid, and the box itself looks like it's totally unfazed by being dropped into that pool. And on the front of
It takes more than acid.
on the front of it, you see a golden keyhole.
Neat.
Genie, if you give me a cat nap, I can recharge in a couple minutes.
Let's look around for a little bit and see if
Okay.
it because
Ekon will take that box.
Okay.
so let's
So what question do we ask the skull?
so 2 boxes were over here, right? So does that mean do you think the third box is also on this side of the thing? Maybe it's something to do with the giant.
Potentially. With the giant skull?
Did
Yeah,
we
you
get
did.
anything off the giant skull? I thought it was just a coincidentally giant skull.
Oh, I didn't see anything. It could be something in that room, or it could be the undead zombies on the ground, or it could be in the question skull that we just came from.
Mhm.
My money's kind of on the question skull. You gotta ask it the right question, but
Yeah, we need to save that for when we know exactly what we want to ask it.
So let's go speak to the Woodstill man. He says he has the key, and he told us exactly where the phylactery was, or at least where he thinks it is. Obvious trap is obvious, but maybe he'll tell us where the box is if we ask him.
Okay.
Choom. Acid power.
He said, "I'm the woodworker here. Let me handle this."
And you step into the room, and the wood steel man, polished, completely smooth, and he's moving. I mean, you could create a creature like this out of wood steel, but you'd have to craft joints and fittings and balls and sockets. He has none of those things. Just completely smooth and polished wood steel, moving of its own accord.
Hello, sir. Are you the protector of the key?
I possess the wood steel key.
Do you know where the box that the Woodstill key goes into is?
He explains that the box you seek is in a hallway with no doors.
Mm-hmm. Is that north of here, east of here? What? Assume this way's north, and I point to the top of the map.
Okay, and he looks in the direction you're pointing and looks back at you, and he tells you that you should seek a hallway with no doors.
I mean, that would be the ease, I think.
Yeah,
I guess this technically doesn't have doors.
I don't know.
Is
where
it
Maybe
like-
it could also be like something buried in the rock that's like, over here.
we could go ask that talking skull. Where's the hallway with no doors?
I mean, he could answer that however he wants. There could be a lot of hallways in here that don't technically have doors.
How much of how pedantic do you think Aslan Rex is?
Extremely.
So, like, because none of these are technically have doors, right? It's
Yeah,
just all just one long hallway, so that's how I would design my dungeon. I would just be as pedantic with riddles as possible.
I mean, if I was an evil overlord, I would just have everything in here kill me on sight. I wouldn't answer any questions.
If I was a lich, what I would do is I would hold up and then lure adventurers in and then troll them.
I've never heard of a lich that does that. I don't think Aslan does that. I think he just kills people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the design philosophy behind this is. I'm not sure why he would put puppets in here who would answer questions.
Yeah. So the next
Unless
question
he's
I'm going to
baiting
ask.
us.
Yeah,
Unless
the
he's
wood
baiting
still.
us into it.
I still think that like this is a decoy, but like gathering the stuff is getting us information. So I asked the Woodstill man, do we have to do anything to get the key from you, or will you just give it to us?
He asks, why are you worthy to possess the wood steel key?
Why are you worthy to possess the Woodstill key?
I was given my charge by Aslan King.
It's by our presence that Wood still came to these lands. Without us, you wouldn't exist.
He asks, what is the nature that evidences this claim?
Jeannie says, like, she starts listing off all the alchemical properties of wood steel.
Okay.
And then also, like, I have been making weapons with wood steel since they showed up in these lands.
The Woodsteel man compliments your knowledge. It is vast indeed.
Victor's
I
going
mean-
over to the other room while they're doing this.
Okay.
Whatever.
We drove away the Celtistravi using wood steel weapons, which has never happened before.
If we got the box that the key goes to, would that make us worthy to possess the key?
He asks, do you possess the Woodsteel box?
No. This is a hypothetical question, my dude.
Calling him my dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Immersion broken.
The
Sorry.
history of our home world, the history of growing and working with wood steel is long, and I can provide you with ample evidence that our people have been doing this since air's first breaths.
He says he was delight in hearing your tales.
I mean,
So the claim
so
was...
Ekon's gonna come in here and start talking about, very old religion and any place you can tie wood steel into it.
Okay. Just to remind everybody what Edmont said, the claim was you would not exist without us.
Yep.
Can we prove that?
Can you?
I mean, Ekon's attempt is a lengthy theoretical or theological diatribe on the origins of wood steel within the Aetherian faith.
So any magical effects the rest of you were concentrating on for any period of time are going to wear off by the end of this dissertation. But the man listens very politely. And he asks no probing questions and does not push on any particular point. He seems content just to hear you speak.
I'm gonna go ahead and erase this freedom of movement.
So where are you keeping the wood steel key? Just
Tells you that
curiosity's sake.
he possesses it.
Yeah. Where? In your pockets?
He possesses it.
Are you the wood steel key?
He is not. He is the man who has been charged with protecting the Woodsteel key.
Are you actually a man or just a man-shaped object?
That's kind of rude, Jeannie.
Yeah, Victor's not here.
I'm gonna start asking that of everybody I meet from now on.
Are you a man? Or are you a man-shaped object?
Wow.
Okay, there's two reasons. There's two very good reasons for this question. One, the turret exists, and two,
There aren't
Jeannie
two good
is-
reasons, are there? There was only the one, and it wasn't that good.
Does the turret think that it's a creature?
The turret doesn't think.
Nope, can't act on its own. It just sits there and rumbles when Jeannie's unconscious. All right.
Victor's been talking to the silver guy while Ekon's doing his speech.
I know, but I'm in here doing this scene.
Oh, that's fine.
So did Aslan learn how to work wood steel from us? I think we would have to prove. And I don't know that we can prove that. I don't think we specifically showed it to him.
We didn't show it to him, but there are any number of people within our village who might be Aslan's eyes and ears. And he looks at Jeannie and says, did we not imprison one of our villagers, one among your engineering number?"
I mean, to be fair, Jeannie has been teaching absolutely everybody who would listen how to work wood steel.
So it's a fair bet then that Aslan has learned the secrets of wood steel working, and
Edmont,
thus produces
actually,
this man.
Genie,
Uh-huh.
make a wisdom check.
Ugh, wisdom.
Just do it and stop bitching about it.
That's a no.
Okay.
It's like a 2 on dice plus
What's
1.
next? We have anything else for the Woodsteel man?
Not at the moment.
All right, let's move on to the Silver Man. Victor, you step into the room. The Silver Man stands there, regards you politely as you enter.
I really don't feel comfortable letting Victor talk to anything alone.
Oh, too bad he was doing that while you were in there with the Woodstone man.
So what do you say to him? What are you doing?
Victor will ask him, "You were the guardian of the Silver Key,
He is indeed.
and how might I possess the Silver Key?"
He asks why you're worthy to possess the silver key.
None of us are worthy to possess the Silver Key. But
He says that he is. He's been given a charge by Evelyn King.
How does he know he's worthy?
You're asking how Evelyn knows Evelyn is worthy of Evelyn's own
No,
key?
how does the Silver Man know that he is worthy to possess the Silver Key?
He's been given a charge by Evelyn King.
And that makes you worthy?
Of course.
We've been given a charge by Evelyn King.
To do what? What do you tell him?
To safeguard the lands of Darkon.
To safeguard the lands of Darkon?
Yeah.
The man asks you, in ancient times, when Darkon was younger, Evelyn maintained an organization whose job was to keep order within the borders. If you name that organization, I will bestow upon you the silver key.
We can ask the skull that.
Victor will nod and walk out of the room.
Alternatively, don't you have more Aslan lore?
Oh, I do have that. Yeah, I'll cash one in for that. Can I use one for that?
Yeah, you can cash in lore for that.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll spend one.
Okay, bear with me 1 second.
I have, after this, I will have 3 remaining.
Sorry, I misplaced my notes, so I have to go back to the book. This always happens towards the end of a campaign when I've got 400,000 notepads that I'm juggling around. Evie.
Yes.
In ancient times, as before Aslan completely consolidated all of his power within Darkon, which I mean all of his political power. He's obviously had complete rulership of Darkon since the land was granted to him. But he's a paranoid man, especially in those early days in open war with Strahd, and he maintained what were effectively secret police called the Kargats. This organization was eventually disbanded because Aslan grew distrustful of them. And he had the heads of the Kargats put to death. This would have happened around the time when Darkon started to split and drift apart into little islands of mist that you discovered upon your arrival.
Yeah, I'll share that information with Victor.
Okay?
Okay. Victor will go back into the room and let the Silver Man know the name of the organization was Gargot.
He asks whether you've been inducted into the Kargats. You who claim to have received a charge from Aslan to protect Darkon.
Did Evie know anything about the induction ceremony or anything, I'm guessing? Not.
No, it's that he stopped trusting them.
Well, that may have been after this guy was created, so this guy may or may not know about that.
You can no amount of lore is going to tell you what this guy may or may not know.
Yeah.
This is a silver man in a dungeon.
Like, if he's like popping back into to like confer, like I would say no, don't.
Yeah, say I'm not one of them. They Aslan stopped trusting them.
Yeah, Victor will go that route.
Okay.
And he'll explain that Aslan stopped trusting them and whatever Evie told him about
Put the leaders' heads on pikes.
The silver man tells you that if you bring him the silver box, which is currently held by the caged troubadour, he will bestow upon you the silver key.
Victor nods and walks out.
Held by is an interesting way to say got surgically implanted into.
But here's the important part. The real reason Victor went in to talk to him was because the Woodstill man told you where to find the Woodstill key, but we don't know if it's trustworthy. So if the Silver man tells us where to find the box and he's telling the truth, then we can probably believe the Woodstill guy. Which Silver
That's where we found it. Though again, I take serious umbrage to held by.
Well, yes.
Suddenly I want to play Ground Zeroes again for no reason whatsoever.
Man.
Okay. I think we can
Wait,
probably
Smash Brothers.
Wait, does that mean that there is a second box?
Victor will ask for the silver box. Whoever's got it. Who has it?
That would have been probably Ekon, who was the
No, I
one
gave
who...
it to you, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did give it to me. Yeah, I'll hand it over. But I'll go with you.
I don't know if another person coming in or not, because then he may ask why you're worthy.
I mean, the Silver Man recognizes you as you step in, Victor.
Yeah. So Victor will hold out the silver box. I have obtained the silver box.
Okay. The Silver Man turns around, showing you his pert, shapely buttocks, and when he turns back, he's holding a silver key, and he hands it out, places it on top of the box in your hands.
Victor nods and thanks him.
And as soon as the key sits there, you tell him thank you, his body explodes apart into a shower of silver coins that spreads out across the floor.
Neat.
Where we're going, I don't know if we need money.
Might as well take it. It's there.
There's thousands of coins.
Yeah, too much time.
You guys, it's gonna take picture like getting all the quarters up off the floor in your office right now.
Save the 500 pounds of coins for after the gold man explodes.
Like, imagine, like, I would imagine, like, someone loading the change machines at an arcade. Let's date ourselves there.
There you go.
What I'm imagining is Diablo.
Yeah.
Well, in Diablo, you can pick up a whole pile of coins with one click.
Okay, well, let's show the gold man the gold box and see what he says.
Well, we can't just show him the box. We got to be worthy before we do.
We'll just tell him.
So Ekon has been in here this whole time, though, communicating over the mind like he needs to, trying to explain that, yes, you wouldn't exist without us because of this large historical allegory about how Woodsteel came to be.
He enjoys your story, but he's not convinced that you are in any part his creator.
So Victor's plan is to go tell the gold man the same thing as the silver man and see if he can reuse.
So you step in, and he asks you why you think you're worthy of the golden key.
And Victor will once again say that they were charged by Aslan to protect the lands of Darkon.
He tells you that Aslan had a trusted visitor in the days immediately after Darkon came to be. If you can identify this visitor, he will entrust you with the key.
I feel like it's going to be Strahd, but Evie, you got any more lore?
We
Can't
can't
catch an ore for this one.
can't be Strahd. Strahd is stuck in Barovia.
Yeah, he can't be him. Yeah.
I'll cash in a lore for this if I can.
Drinking?
Is that a no?
Yeah, lore's not going to avail you here. Which means this must be ancient, ancient, ancient indeed.
Victor will nod.
Can't be Van Richten then.
No, Van Richten's only like 40-something.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if they do age him. I think they just make him bald.
This might be something worth asking with Skull.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that would give us something to try. Like, because that will allow us to test whether it's one question per person, one question per green flame, one question, like, or like like one question or set number of questions total.
So I don't have another protection from evil. That's on me. So whoever goes in there.
Didn't really feel anything when I met with the statue.
Was it a wisdom save or a charisma save? I forget.
What, going into the pit room, you mean, in here?
Yeah.
That was a wisdom... Oh, no, it was a charisma save, I think.
McDohl, I have a
Charisma
question
saving
for
throw.
you. What
What's that?
what spells did you pick for your warlock class?
I took Booming Blade as a cantrip. Cost you an illusory script.
Okay.
What's
Just
next?
wondering. Let's go ask the skull a question.
Okay.
Okay.
You head
So-
back up through the sarcophagus room, through the winding stairway, into the
Yep.
pit room, to the talking skull.
Yep. I'll step up in front of it again. Time
Okay.
to pull it like I did before.
When you put your hands on it, the jawbone clacks back and forth. Ask thy question.
Who was the first guest in
Not who was
Right.
the first guest. It was who was the most trusted visitor.
who's the most
A
trusted visitor
right after the formation of
after
Darkon,
Dark
right?
One became what it is?
Edmont, phrase that question once more coherently.
So we were
I'm asking Edmont.
Admiral-
Edmont's the one standing there.
I was gonna tell Admiral what the guy asked us, but okay.
I'm listening to Edmont right now.
Who was the most trusted visitor in Darkon when it became what it is?
Edmont,
Sir.
give me a dexterity saving throw.
Sure. $30.
30.
Yep.
A gout of green flame shoots out from the skull's nose, and you sidestep quickly. And for a moment, the brazier to the right flickers out, but then it poofs back up into a second green flame. And the skull repeats, "Ask thy question."
We must want a specific question.
Edmont steps away.
Okay.
Ask it where the room with the hallway with no doors is. I'll be back here, away from the fire.
The gold man said Aslan had a trusted visitor in the days after Darkon was formed. Tell me who that was. So it's not just any visitor, but it's Aslan's trusted visitor.
What's next?
Go ahead. By all means, go for it.
If I go in there, I might walk into the pit.
We wouldn't want Victor to step into a trap.
That never happens.
That's never happened before.
Victor only steps into traps he's confident he can avoid.
These guys could have left you in chain hole for all the rest of time.
Could have, but didn't.
Oh my god, you guys. Jeannie is gonna like hug the wall.
Okay.
She's gonna get right here.
Sure.
She's looking like looks like I'm fine. She's gonna
Okay.
stand in front of the skull.
Sure.
All right. What can you? Where's the location of the hallway with no doors? I think that's how it was phrased, right?
Give me a dexterity saving throw.
That's a 10.
A 10.
Yep.
15 points of fire damage. Unresistible fire damage.
Oh, okay.
As your arm ignites, gets caught in this gout of green flame. This time, the brazier in the nasal passage of the skull does not reignite. And your arm is burning. Whatever clothing you're wearing on the arm smolders away. And when you look down, burned across the inside of your arm, from your wrists clear up to the inside of your elbow, is the phrase, "in this room."
God damn it, Emma! You could have had the answer.
Not with a 30 on the saving throw, he can't.
Sheedy goes, "Ow!" And also, my dress. Although, to be fair, this dress is probably dirty.
That's kind of messed up.
What'd you find out, Jeannie?
The hallway's in this room somewhere. You think maybe it's down in the pit?
Probably.
Yeah.
How many undead are down in that pit?
It's like a charnel pit, so it's filled with probably hundreds of bodies.
Oh, it's full of bodies. Okay. So
Well, skeletal pieces of human bodies.
Hallway with no door.
Yeah, I mean that's what this is.
That's for the wood steel box, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So
You need to move out of the way. Edmont stands back in front of the skull again.
Okay.
Thank God for temp hit points.
You're
Who
standing
is
there.
Aslan's most trusted visitor when Darkon became what it is?
Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Willingly fail.
Okay. The other torch inside the nasal cavity snuffs out. 14 points of unresistible fire damage. As your arm bursts into flames, smoldering the clothing, damaging any armor you're wearing. You're a monk.
Yeah.
And it leaves behind a name scalded into the flesh of your arm from your wrist up to your inner elbow that reads Cyris.
Cyris.
All right. Let's.
Now there's no more flames in the skull.
It is now dark.
Okay, I think we use that up.
Your locate object still good, or you?
I would need to rest to use that again.
If Jeannie has access to catnap, you could get that back.
I do, but before I do that, I want to.
Cyris.
Do I think this skull weighs more or less than 500 pounds?
Almost certainly more. This thing's like 3.5 feet tall. Made of solid stone.
Do you want to try and move it?
I was trying to levitate it, yeah.
Orson, let's go try and move a block of rock.
I think using the question to ask where the hallway was not a good use of the question.
No, sounds like Evie should have stepped forward and answered the question then.
Sounds like Evie wouldn't have failed to save. So
That's true.
Does anybody else want to help us move this block?
Give me
Noodle
a
arms.
strength check at advantage. Orson can do this because he's got a crowbar and Victor's helping from the other side.
Yeah, Victor's got a crowbar too.
That is an 18.
Okay. Yeah, you guys managed to get the crowbar down underneath it and give it an inch of clearance. You rock it one way, then back, then one way, and then when you pull it back the second time, the two chains in the back of the wall clatter to the ground. When you rock it a third time, it comes loose from the divot and rolls away into the pit. Comes to a rest on top of this pile of bones.
There's like a skull there now.
the box isn't under that.
Nope. There's nothing under it or behind it. The chains were actually.
Hope it wasn't where it
held there.
landed. Hope the box isn't where the thing landed.
Moving it out of the pit will be much, much harder, yes.
We can just roll it through the pit.
All right.
So these are two different chains that are just to the ground.
Yes.
Okay,
Each
just
one
follow
is connected to a cubby behind an iron grate in the wall here and there.
Mhm.
And they come together in the center. The chain is actually broken where the skull had pinned it back there. If you were to mend it using magic or just forging a new link of chain, the chain could be held taut from one of those holes to the other one.
Yeah, I'll hold them. I'll hold them in place for one of the whoever has mending available to restore the chain.
Sure, I can do that.
And the chain is restored by magic, and now it is taut from one cubby to the other.
Are there any chains that are still slack that we've seen?
None that I've seen. I think all of them have been taut.
Because we tied off the 2 that were by the pillar.
Yep.
All right. So, any ideas for digging through this pit?
I think maybe a flaming sphere first.
Yeah, I'm
I
kind
mean, are
of.
these bodies or bones?
Bones.
Disintegrate? Question mark.
Victor will
I
get.
don't. I mean, you can't. I can burn bone, but that's not going to find. It's going to take forever, and it's not really going to show you anything. Like it'll just be ash on top of the box instead of bone.
Well, saying maybe disintegrate. Call.
It's not one object. Disintegrate hits one object.
Oh, it hits one. Okay, never mind then.
Can you like burn the bones to ash and then make a gust of wind to blow the ash away?
I feel like burning the bones to ash will take longer than a flaming sphere is going to. I mean, is there a reason we can't just look through the bones?
Stepping at the edge of the pit is what caused Orson to almost walk into it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I know I've passed a save to prevent that from happening. So Orson, Edmont tosses him a rope, ties it around his wrist, and he approaches the pit.
Edmont, you don't notice. I mean, you hear the little voices calling up from out of the pit. Please help us, save us, pull us out. But you are not compelled to do much of anything.
Edmont shakes his head. No, I can deal with it.
You climb out over the fallen skull.
On top of the fallen skull, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
It's like the Psychonauts level with the bowling ball. You have to run backwards now.
yeah. That's, no, I know I'm too heavy for that. Or that's too heavy for that.
Insert Katamari Damacy noises here.
That game's so dumb.
It is pretty dumb, but it's fun dumb.
It's fun. Edmond, what's next?
I'll hop back off of the skull and then look at the others and say, I'm kind of stumped right now. I don't really have anything that would contribute to digging through this mess of refuse.
Okay, what's next?
Victor is actually going to go to this room.
Victor is leaving the room. Yeah, back into the little skeleton archer pit.
Yeah, this looks like
just
a
see
no doors.
The collapsed bodies of several skeleton archers still remain here.
No boxes laying around under anything, or the giant corpse of that big thing that was in here.
I forgot. Neither of those guys died inside of these little
No,
rooms.
Yeah.
they're
They're both out in the hallways. So yeah, they're still out there, but no,
Yeah.
no boxes.
No.
I don't know, if you give me a rest and I can try locating object, then it'll point us to exactly where in this pile it is.
I mean, Victor's just going to search the area as best he can.
Victor, make me an investigation check.
Go ahead and take a D4 on that.
It's a 22.
Victor, running your arms along the edges of the room as you walk the perimeter of the room, you discover that there's no stone here. Your arm just sinks into the wall as though it's not there at all. It's a visual illusion.
Victor will try and step through the wall after telling people what he found.
Edmont snaps his head around.
Victor steps through the wall.
Yep.
Roll initiative. This one's my favorite.
Oh, I hate it when he says that.
Let's go with green this time. We don't need that. We're going to need this on 20. And I rolled pretty good.
Well, it's nice knowing you guys.
I
That'd be
rolled a
great.
1.
I also rolled a 1.
Victor, you enter the hallway with no doors. And that's immediately going to trigger a held action. Victor, I've got a 23 to hit.
Well, funny story. That actually hits me.
I should hope so. Stepping in, I mean, you can see pretty much the whole length of the hallway looking down. I mean, eventually it does disappear towards the end of your dark vision. But as you enter, you hear a loud, high-pitched, startled screech. And then you immediately hear the loud twang of a heavy cord snapping taut. And a ballista arrow fires down the hallway, impaling your shoulder.
And you've lost your arm.
15 points of piercing damage.
And Victor yells out, "What the Smurf?"
Looking down the hallway. This isn't the range of your dark vision, actually.
60 feet.
Just
a
at the
little bit further than
very
that.
edge of the range of your dark vision, you see some kind of large mechanism in the floor. So, like, large and round and taking up almost the whole space of the hallway. And you start hearing the sound of a cord being re-winched. And further squeaks and squeals of a very startled, high-pitched voice. All right, so that was green. We're coming in on green. Who's next?
Edmont with Victor.
50 feet gets me there.
Okay.
He passes
Edmont.
through the wall.
There are no goblins in the Republic, but the creature sitting upon this giant ballista who is frantically re-winching a new bolt into the slot fits the description of, like, fairy tale books and things, of unseelie, just awful little trash pile creatures with pointy ears and long green noses. And this one has a great, like, puff of bright orange hair. Unmistakably a goblin. And she is frantically winching this thing around in place for another shot.
Bonus action. Teleport behind her
Okay.
and grapple.
All right.
I do get advantage of that.
Okay.
You gotta beat a 16 or 14. I'm sorry.
How about a 3?
I got her.
Yeah, you grapple this creature. She's wearing leather armor, and you feel things crack and break, and like the shatter of glass with your arms clasped around her, as she's kicking feebly and banging on you with her little hands and shouting at you in a language that you've never heard, but you definitely know it was a slur. And on her turn, she's going to start biting you.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got Orson with,
No, Victor is next.
I'm sorry, Victor with Orson. Yeah.
All right, 30 feet gets me there. So I see Edmont is holding a fairy-looking creature.
A tiny green woman, yes. Here, I will draw the ballista is in this area, and it's huge. It's like she has to sit on this seat, and she's working these mechanisms, and it has the ability to spin on its axis on the floor to fire in either direction.
So, question before I do anything: could I use my action to disable the ballista by breaking it somehow?
I'll let you roll a Thieves' Tools check at disadvantage.
Okay.
Because you don't know how the mechanism works, and you're going to have a few seconds to try to break something with your... But yeah, there's lots of places you could jam something up. You could break off a probe in a little slot or something. Yeah, there's...
All right, so 30 feet gets me there. And then, yeah, we're going to use my action to break this thing that just shot me.
So you used the bonus action to dash in, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, give me a Thieves' Tools. Dexterity Thieves' Tools.
So he doesn't have Red's electrical engineering degree.
Right.
That's okay, because it's a 25.
Yeah, I mean, you put your little finder probe in one of the little slots in the mechanism, and you just snap it off. And you're pretty sure that the winch won't work anymore. It won't be able to be operated. And the tiny green woman that Edmont is giving this passionate embrace to cries out as she watches you do this, and her kicking and her little fists become even more furious.
Hush, you.
Do you want to stay on initiative anymore, or is there more to do here?
I think the plan is to interrogate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's come off initiative until...
Edmont's going to march her back in this direction toward the rest of the group.
Marching her or carrying her?
Carrying her.
Okay.
Victor's going to search the hallway while they do that.
Victor, the other edge of the hallway ends at another illusory wall that opens back up into the skull room.
Found something that kind of came straight out of fairy stories.
There no boxes just lying in the hallway, I'm guessing.
No.
Okay. Yeah, after your coaches, he'll come back.
I have comprehend, but I don't have tongues today.
I can cast comprehend, and Edmont stoops down, looks her in the eye, and says, "You speak Darkanese and Darkanese."
So you let her go? You set her down?
Well, keep restraining her. Don't let her free.
Let's tie
Tie
her
her
up.
up with something.
Yeah, we have rope.
Jeannie, there's a toy for you in the hallway, and then I guess Victor will help tie up the goblin.
Okay. Yeah, if you lash a rope around her and she can't go anywhere.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then Edmont will speak in Darkanese. Do you speak Darkanese?
But did you cast comprehend languages so you can understand what she says?
Yeah, I will.
Does that let
I
her
still have slot.
understand you, though?
No.
No.
Okay. Safe to say you run through all the languages you know, and she doesn't understand any of them. And she has nothing good to say about you at all. Although, in her panicked diatribe, you do pick up the fact that you've made a grave mistake. Now the ballista is disarmed, and intruders could come from either direction, and Aslan is going to come back, and he's going to put all of you to the sword. It's only a matter of time, and then she's going to laugh, and she's going to piss on your grave, and every other thing. Like, I can't even repeat half of the stuff that's coming out of her filthy mouth right now.
Victor is going to start searching her person.
Jeannie is going to remind Victor that he can speak to people in their brain without a language requirement, and then she's going to go to look at the ballista.
Okay.
I'm just really enjoying the idea that like this little goblin woman is like Aslan's top right hand man.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever said. Victor,
Yeah.
take 1 point of slashing damage
Okay.
as you start patting her down, because she's got tons of little compartments all over. You put your hand in, and a mousetrap snaps shut on your finger, and she laughs and spits in your face.
I think that exact same thing happened to Birdie in Flumph of the Wild.
So, Victor is going to basically... All right, Victor is going to pull out his normal knife, and he's going to cut off her clothing so he doesn't get hurt again.
Got off her armor. Genie,
Yeah,
give me an investigation check.
Sure.
That's harsh.
I'm going to add a d4 to this.
Sure.
I don't think I need it because that's a 29 without.
Okay.
But that's a 33.
There are lots of little compartments all over this ballista. It's too small for you to sit in. It's made for a creature of her size. So you'd have to be small to... But you find lots of... There's like inside the armrests, underneath the seat of the chair, you find a drawer, and lots of little mechanisms. This thing would be very, very... It's actually over-engineered, if we're being honest. It just needs to fire shots. However, you do find one compartment that when you pull it aside, you can see the wood steel box inside on the other side of a pane of smoked glass.
Mm-hmm.
The bone box with a wood steel keyhole.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Can I... The glass, is it magical?
Yes, actually, it has abjuration magic upon it.
Jeannie yells down the hall and says, "Ask her how to open the magic pane of glass on her ballista. And then if she tells us, then we'll fix her ballista."
So I mean, Victor, you cut the straps off of her shoulders so her armor falls away. She's got rags on underneath. She doesn't have anything else on her.
Okay.
She's
Look
not
at Victor
armed.
and say, "You gonna tell that to her in her brain? We can't talk to her."
Yeah, Victor will try and invade her mind.
Yeah, and she speaks in her awful language that's terrible to listen to. Edmont, you're fairly sure she's not going to answer any of your questions. She is incredibly upset at all of you.
Yeah.
Victor will grab her by the ropes and fling her around to face the pit.
Hey, that's not going to help.
And tell her if she cooperates, we'll fix her ballista. If she doesn't cooperate, and then I'll motion to the pit and kind of give her a little mock shove forward.
She looks scared of the pit, but she tells you that if she doesn't cooperate with you and you don't fix the ballista and let her get back to work, that Aslan's going to come and put you all to the sword. She's been given this charge. She's not your enemy in this situation. Aslan Rex is. So yeah, she's not scared of this pit. I mean, she is, but she's not more scared of it than she is of what Aslan's going to do to her.
Wait, am I understanding what I'm hearing over this Raries right, Victor? She's saying she's going to stop Aslan with the ballista when he shows up?
No, she's been charged by Aslan to guard this hallway from intruders with the ballista.
And she doesn't. So yeah, I mean, Victor is telling her that we will fix your ballista as soon as you tell us how to get the box out of the glass.
And she has a better idea. She says you should fix the ballista and let her get back to work so Aslan doesn't kill all of you. That's her counteroffer.
You need to worry about yourself right now, and he'll push her a little closer to the pit.
Jeannie is going to take out her thieves' tools.
Yep.
And start probing the section with the box.
You could tap on the glass. That's about all you could do.
Okay, so it's just it's solid. It's a solid. Like there's no give on the glass whatsoever.
No, it's a solid pane of smoked glass, and it's set slightly indented down into this compartment that you found.
Okay, well then in that case, I start digging through my bandolier, and I pull out a scroll of Dispel Magic.
Okay.
And I'm going to use it on the glass.
At what level? Level 3, yes?
It is, yeah, it's just level 3.
Okay. Go ahead and give me that Dispel Magic check.
Okay. Destil, what's Dispel Magic checks?
Ability. Spellcasting ability.
So that'd be an 18?
Okay. And
8 level spells and below her.
Whatever magical effect was on the pane of smoked glass is no longer there. And as you look, you see that it was not smoked glass at all. It was obscured by part of the magical effect. Now you can see the bone box very clearly on the other side of the pane.
Okay. I am going to grab the box.
You can't. There's a
Pocket it?
pane of glass in the way.
Oh, well, in that case, I'm going to hit it with a hammer.
So the glass smashes. Victor, she cries out. Her hair turns gray and falls out, and her body wrinkles and sags as she ages 100 years in the span of a few seconds. And now you're just threatening to drop this desiccated corpse onto a pile of bones in front of you.
Victor
Jeannie
will curse and look at Ekon and say, "God damn it, Jeannie beat me to it."
So can I grab the box now?
Yeah, you can reach in and take the box out, and you shake the shards of broken glass away.
Jeannie comes outside. She's like, "I got the box." Oh, what happened here? What did
Edmont's coiling rope up.
Goblin was enchanted, was about to check, and then you did whatever it is you did.
Well, I got the box.
Okay.
You did. Congratulations.
All right, let's go talk to the other two golems.
Is that all three? Is that all 3 boxes then?
We don't have a skull yet.
Yeah, we don't have a skull. The only let's check this. We still haven't looked at this. Let's go through the hall.
No, we really haven't. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Did a cursory look, but yeah. Do a thorough investigation of the room.
what's the dealio with the skullio?
So stepping up into the center of the floor, like I said, it's not carved in the floor, it's not painted, it's just like the natural contours, the shape of the imperfections in the stone, just the natural wear of them over years, just happen to coincidentally look like a human skull.
I don't believe that. If we look up, if we look up, is there like a skull hanging from the ceiling?
There's not. The ceiling in here is a little higher than in some of the other rooms, but it's not. You can actually see it from your position. It's not more than 30 feet above you, but it's arched towards the middle, so the highest point is above the center of the skull.
Is the space to go into like is the space like for the eye sockets and the nose socket, like the sinus cavity? Are those big enough to reach into? Is there anything to reach into?
It's just more like there are slightly concave sections of the floor.
Okay.
So it's not like not like a holes. There's not pits or anything like that.
All right.
Like that's where all the marbles would roll into.
Uh-huh. You know what we should do? We should ask one of the men, if they know who protects the skull part, the skull key. See if they know the answer to that.
How high is the ceiling in here?
About 30 feet.
Okay.
And
So
it's 30 feet in the center.
Where did the ridiculous twisted space ceiling drop off? Does it drop off when you go through like in here?
Once you're clear of the acid pit, more or less.
Okay.
Like over this northern section of the acid pit where it tapers off, you can see the ceiling there. Like you can picture an archway connecting this wall with this wall on the other side.
And then after that, you get weird space ceiling.
Yep. Out here over the main bulk of the acid pit where the bridge goes over it.
This chain is taunt. That chain is taunt.
I think all of them are, because you guys even made these ones taunt.
What about this one? Was already taunt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these were already taught.
It's
Yeah,
Toit.
these were already...
Tight.
Toit.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay.
What's next?
There's no like loose stones or anything that might be hiding a skull on top of the skull.
No,
How high up is the chain here?
you might have to duck under the first one slightly. Going under the second one, you might be able to just walk under it because you have like stepping down into where eventually the cliff will dive down into the acid.
Hey Orson, come over here and just like pull on this chain. I know they're all tight. I'm just curious, like, can you at this point, now that we've repaired and reattached all of them, if anything would happen?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Orson gives each chain a tug in either direction, and they're affixed to the walls on either side pretty sturdily.
All right.
Yeah, I was hoping they'd all be connected too.
I don't know. If you're looking for a skull in this dungeon, this is where I would look.
That or, in here. Like, maybe it's inside the giant formerly taught.
Maybe once we get all three keys in place, something will happen with the skull.
Perhaps.
So we can try that. Let's go get the gold key.
Yeah.
Going back down to talk to the golden man?
Yep. And tell him all about Styrex and show him that we have the golden box.
Yes, Styrix.
Who is doing this?
Edmont.
Well, Victor's the one that he was talking to first. You still want to do it?
Yep.
Edmont, you step forward holding the box with the golden keyhole. And he asks you whether you know who Aslan's earliest and most trusted visitor was.
Person by the name of Styrix.
He turns around, points at you his pert, muscular golden buttocks. And he comes back.
Beautiful.
He's holding a golden key, and he reaches out, places it on top of the box that you're holding.
Put my hand over it.
And a moment later, his body dissolves into this flood of gold coins spreading out over your boots and across the floor of the room.